The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Earnestly podcast coming to you June 18th, 2023. A very happy Father's Day to all the dads out there far and wide, including my own father, my brothers, all dads, brother-in-law, you name it. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Coming to on this Sunday, another rainy Sunday. Well, it was nice for a couple hours. Took the kids to the pool. Actually, the pool's fixed finally. Took the kids to the pool for about an hour or so, but then it started raining again, which is fine. But, again, a very blessed day. Father's Day for me, of course. Very quiet. I told my kids today, all I want, they ask me what I want, and I go, I don't want anything. First off, we're going to actually celebrate Father's Day tomorrow because while I do want to go out to eat with the family, I do also understand that it is insanely busy also in restaurants today because of the same reason, because of Father's Day. So I told my wife, listen, I don't need to enjoy my Father's Day on the day of. I can go out on another day, the day after, the day before, doesn't matter, whatever's convenient for us, and go to dinner tomorrow night. So tomorrow night we're going to go to, I think we're going to Texas Roadhouse, although I think the wife had brought up Olive Garden. I told her I'm not really in the mood for Olive Garden. Maybe I'll change my mind tomorrow. We'll see. But I haven't gone to Texas Roadhouse about 2 years, so kind of, hopefully we do that one. Well, I'll let you guys know if we did that or not. But just reflecting on, I've been a dad actually over 10 years now. 2 kids, of course. You guys know this already. Eli, 10 years old. Logan, 6. It's been a journey. It's challenging. It's easily the most challenging thing I've done in my life, even more than marriage, even more than other things, career things I've done in the past, and it's challenging. It's stressful. It's rewarding. It's painstaking, but it's something I know that I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I really do. My boys, as tough as they are, they still give me reason to continue pushing on. They give me purpose. Fatherhood is the first thing that gave me real purpose beyond myself. And it's something that I took a while to really embrace. I'll give you some rawness here about being a dad. I was always present. I always been present with my kids. That's always been something I've taken pride in, especially given the fact that we have a lot of fathers out there who are not involved in their kids' lives. And for whatever reason that may be, whether it's self-inflicted, whether or not it's issues with their spouse or ex-spouse, or maybe I'm not against all that. But I've always taken pride in wanting to be the kind of dad that's heavily involved in my kids' lives. And and I'll admit, there have been moments where it's been tough. Early on, too, especially. I remember when I first became a dad, was actually a rough time for me and my wife, because at the time, while we were trying to celebrate this accomplishment of becoming parents for the first time, we were also going through a lot of issues at the time, too, also, her and I. We actually had almost separated at that point. We considered divorcing at one point, too, at that time. A lot of people don't know that. I had a lot going on. I know for myself, it was a lot of pressure for me because I started a kind of a new career at that point. And all the pressures, I'm not trying to complain about it, but this is just the reality of what I was going through at the time at age 33, with all the responsibility in my hands. I was the only one working at the time, too. We made a decision for my wife to stay home, and I started to be the sole income in the house. So that there comes a lot of pressures with that, too, especially. And it was a rough time. It was very rough. I remember that at the time, too, also, my mom and I had not gotten along also, too. I think her and I had, about a year later, stopped talking for a little while. My dad and I too. Also, especially we weren't as close. I think we had. I think to be honest, with most of my family, and honestly, I was pretty much in my own little world. I was struggling mentally at the time to figure out the direction to go in and how to deal with being a parent. Even though I was there physically and I was there were times in that first year, especially, that I wasn't mentally there in a way I should have been. And obviously that changed with my second kid. By the time we got a couple of years got on my belt, I was able to fix some of those issues I had, those mental issues I had, mental health issues rather I had at that time. Being able to reaffirm my relationship with my parents, at that point. The second kid 4 years later, and it was night and day. It was the complete opposite. With Logan, I was heavily involved in the day-to-day with my youngest one, because at that point I had felt more comfortable in who I was, more comfortable in the process, and it reflected well. Both my kids are my world, man. I as I get older and they have their own voices, their own interests, and all that stuff, you start to really, I'm starting to take more stock in appreciating what they bring to the table. And it's one of those things where, you don't get that time back. And, I always joke around that, I'm over this stage. I want them to become teenagers and adults so I can get my life back. And look, I won't lie. There's some of that too. There is some of that there also too. I'm not gonna lie to you, but the truth is, I do enjoy this process. Also, I am learning a lot from them too. Also, I'm learning a lot about myself, especially with this. So, in because of this, it's just one of those things where, this is not easy. Same for everybody. This is what I always tell folks. If you don't want to be a parent, don't be pressured to become parents. A father. Be pressured for that. Do it for the right reasons. Do it because it's something you want to do, not because you're told to do it or that you're forced to do. But I tell you, when you do become a father and you become a parent, it's another world. It's another whole new meaning of life. And I don't know. This today I feel like reflecting on that. My own dad, especially. My dad, wasn't a, when I say every day, my mom and dad never got married. But my dad was involved. I'm blessed to at least have that. A lot of folks don't have that, what I have with my father. And I feel like today, especially, my dad and I have always had a good relationship. We were never, look, I think we've always been close, but I think today more than ever, and I think ever since the pandemic, honestly, I feel like our relationship is actually flourishing more. We've always been close, but I don't think my dad and I have the same relationship like my mom and I have. And a lot of it's because my mom was my main caretaker growing up. She was there most of the time because I was living with her. But I would see my dad every week, every 2 weeks, on weekends. But I think I've gotten older and wiser and appreciative of life itself. And I think we've all evolved. Myself, my father. I feel like my relationship with my father now is the strongest it's been because I think there's an understanding about things. I think we've gone through a lot personally, and we've figured out what is and what isn't. And at the end of the day, it comes down to just appreciating each other, appreciating life, and allowing each other the space to evolve. I know my dad has allowed me that space in recent years, especially too, which I appreciate that for it, especially because not just my dad, but my mom also too. Both parents are very much, they love to insert. They're still parents. I'm 43 years old, and they still love to dole out advice as though I'm still 13. and look, in a lot of ways, I appreciate it because look, they're white. Look, they're older than I am. They've seen more. The stage I'm at now, they were here already. You know what I'm saying? They were here already. So for them to do advice, it would be foolish for myself to not at least, whether I agree or disagree with them, what they're saying, at least take on the advice to some degree. Or at least place it somewhere where you can, okay, I'll consider that. Take under consideration. But my dad is a great man. He's a great man. He values fitness. He values health. He loves his grandkids. He's a wonderful human being. He loves hard. Loves all people. And that's all you can ask for, dude, is being there for the big moments, being there when necessary, being the shoulder to lean on. If I need to talk to someone. My dad and I have tremendous conversations, about basketball especially too, but about politics. I mean, he's been on this podcast before. It's been a little while. I've been trying to come on the pod, soon. But we have awesome conversations. Like, this is one reason why I don't call him as much, is because I know when we talk, we want to lay out at least 30 minutes to an hour to talk, because we tend to get into like, basically him and I talking like a podcast in itself. And I like that space to do that. I mean, him as well. So happy Father's Day, my father, Earl, who listens to this podcast. I love you very much. Thanks for everything you've done and you do. I saw him on Friday. You see my nephew. You see on social media, I post pictures of my nephew and I. So that is that there for that. Let's get some of these topics here as I bring up my docket of things here to talk about. My phone, my iCloud is a little on the slow mend here right now. Don't know why. There it is. Ja Morant suspension is officially dropped. He is out 25 games. They announced on Friday. The NBA released a statement on revolving Ja Morant's decision. The decision Ja Morant to suspend him 25 games. Here's the NBA statement on Ja Morant. Here it is here. Quote, Ja Morant's decision to once again wield a firearm on social media is alarming and disconcerting, given his similar conduct in March, for which he was already suspended for 8 games. That's what Adam Silver said in a statement. The potential for other young people to emulate Ja's conduct is particularly concerning. Under these circumstances, we believe a suspension of 25 games is appropriate and makes clear that engaging in reckless and irresponsible behavior with guns will not be tolerated. The NBA, Ja Morant actually also had a statement following his the announcement of his suspension, and it reads like this. If I can just bring it up here. He goes, Ja has said, quote, I've had time to reflect, and I realize how much hurt I've caused. I want to apologize to the NBA, the Grizzlies, my teammates, and the city of Memphis, to Adam Silver, Zach Kleiman, and Robert Opera, who gave me the opportunity to be a professional athlete and have supported me. I'm sorry for the harm I've done. To the kids who look up to me, I'm sorry for failing as a role model. I promise I'm going to be better. To all my sponsors, I'm going to be a better representation for our brands. And to all my fans, I'm going to make it up to you. I promise. I'm spending the offseason and my suspension continuing to work on my own mental health and decision making. I am also going to be training so that I'm ready to go when I get back on the court. I know my teammates are going to be holding down, and I'm so sorry I won't be out there with you at the beginning of the season. I hope you will give me the chance to prove to you over time I'm a better man than what I've been showing you. The NBA Players Association actually disagrees with the decision of games here for Ja, and this is what they put out a statement here, quote, Ja has expressed his remorse and accepted responsibility for his actions, and we support him unequivocally as he does whatever is necessary to represent himself, our players, and our league in the best possible light. As to the discipline imposed, which keeps him off the court until December and requires some unstated conditions to be met before he can return, we believe it is excessive and inappropriate for a number of reasons, including the facts involved in the particular incident, and that it is not fair and consistent with past discipline in our league. We will explore with Ja all options and next steps. All right. Now, the commentary around the Ja thing, especially now since Friday, has been all over the place from people saying that it's fair to it's excessive to it's not enough. Let's be clear here, guys. A crime was not committed here. However, this is the NBA protecting their brand. The folks who are mad about how much games have been put here, too bad. You know, you're getting paid a lot of money to do a job, and, there are responsibilities that come with that. Okay, there are strings attached. Get over it. That it is what it is. My prediction was he would have gotten 41 games. I thought 20 to 30 was fine. I was thinking 41 though. I think this is fine because what you're realizing also money wise, he already got dinged this past year by not making the all NBA team, which I will argue that him missing those 8 games in March played a large part in him not making all NBA. Especially given the fact that the Memphis Grizzlies was number 2 in the West. So that cost him another additional, what was it, $3 million there alone, I think was the number. 19, I can't remember exactly. It was a large sum of money he cost himself there, potentially. Also, with the new rules in place, and this is something I didn't consider at the time, the new rules in place starting next year where to make all NBA teams and awards and all that stuff, you have to play a minimum of 65 games. Well, unfortunately for Ja Morant, because he's missing 25 games at the shoot, he will not qualify for extra other bonuses next year, which now means he's going to be out, what I saw a number, approximately $60 billion in potential earnings because of this. So if he does not learn a lesson there, I don't know what to tell you. So I think the NBA got it right here. I think him losing on potential money, given how good he is, especially too. I think this is the right move. I know the folks said that he should be out for the year. I think it's a little excessive. I get it. I saw Michael Wilbon on PTI on ESPN saying that he thought it was not excessive enough, and I get Wilbon's candor on that. Wilbon's very, very much an old school, traditional, and I think a lot of his anger towards Ja over the situation where Ja literally said, "I'll do better," and then he came back and did the same damn thing again. I totally get what Wilbon's coming from there. He needs a space to be better. I hope he does better. I hope these next really 6 to 7 months, because he won't be able to play a game again until December. He'll use this time to reflect, look at his surroundings, who he associates with, and start making very wise choices. I will also like for him to start leaning in more into talking to players like LeBron James, Steph Curry, guys who are also, stars of their own right, who've been in the league a long time, and invest time into that. Invest time in those people. Because, for all the talk we give about Ja Morant and this and that, look at LeBron. LeBron's been in the league 20 years, not one blemish. The worst thing to say about LeBron James is this: the decision. He didn't tell Cleveland that he was leaving the city. That's the worst thing LeBron has done in his career. So, like I said, I don't have a problem with suspension here, honestly. I thought they got it right given the situation, given the whole specter of this. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm rooting for the guy. His statement doesn't move me because he did this already once, and he betrayed the commissioner, betrayed the fans, his team, his teammates. So to me, it's about the actions now going forward. It's about the actions. And let's see if his actions measure up with the statement or statements he's put out between March and now here in June. Bottom line. So they got it right, and it is what it is. All right. Another basketball thing here, quick. Today is the 10-year anniversary of Ray Allen. Ray Allen's shot her around the world. People can, of course, that was a shot that saved the Heat season in the NBA Finals, Game 6, of course, which extended to overtime. People forget that shot didn't win the game for the Heat, though. I think people overrate the situation in that game. Yeah, did that shot save their season and maybe save the blueprint for the Heat at that time? Yeah, it's very possible. But here's the thing people forget. That shot only tied the game, okay? The Spurs still had 6 seconds in that game, which they missed. Overtime, which they lost. And then Game 7, 2 nights later, to reverse that. We saw the Heat in the conference finals this year alone. lose a heartbreaking game in Game 6. Boston had a chance to still win that game, Game 7. And it didn't do it. So it's forgotten. But, I remember where I was. I was actually working that night. I was actually dealing a table. I was on table 26, actually, dealing. And I remember when that shot hit, the whole room stopped. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I was crazy. I wish I'd been home for that game, honestly, but this is around the time I became a dad 10 years ago. And I couldn't take days off from work because I needed to make money. So I couldn't be home. I couldn't take the night off to watch this game. Thank God Game 7, though, was off that night. Thank God. But, yeah. The Ray Allen shot, man, still to this day, it gives me chills watching it. I still get scared that he misses it. That Spurs team was scary. That's also the Spurs team. I keep telling y'all that Danny Green is why I started to really hate Danny Green, because Danny Green had a record amount of 3-pointers those first 5 games. Danny Green gave me nightmares. And that's because of that series. But yeah, Ray Allen saving the blueprint 10 years ago today. Wow, what a time! What a time! I talk about how I love these Heat teams today with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and all that stuff. But look, those Heat teams I miss those years, those 4 years, not because the teams how great they were, because obviously they were great, but the environment around the media around that time. It was such an excitement out here in Miami at the time. But I do love my blue collar Heat teams today. We'll say that. All right, let's switch up to a little wrestling here. AEW Collision yesterday finally launched on TNT. Their Saturday show. They now have 5 hours a week now worth of content. AEW. You got 2 hours of Wednesday on Dynamite. You got an hour of Rampage on Friday, and then Saturday's Collision. Collision's a fresh new show live from Chicago. CM Punk makes his return back to the company after nearly a year away. It's a good show. It wasn't a great show. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. Gave it a B. Solid show. This is what I want to say about AEW Collision. And this is what I really want to kind of hope that Tony Khan can really turn things around. Because prior to last night, I hadn't watched any AEW material, certainly not live, in a very long time. And honestly, it's probably bordering on a year. But I wanted to see this in real time. I wanted to see the hype. I wanted to see the new set. I think this is an opportunity for AEW to right some wrongs. We talk about how their roster's bloated, and it really is. It really is a bloated roster. And I know they had prior to this, they had the AEW Dark, the shows on YouTube and all that, and they use that, but no one's really watching that. Come on. I mean, unless you're a hardcore AEW guy. No one's really watching that. I'm a big fan of AEW, but I'm not going on my way to watch AEW Dark and AEW After Dark, whatever the hell they call those shows. But one of the things that I've complained about AEW for a long time is, lack of women getting TV time, lack of consistency in storylines, lack of all that. Look, I don't know if they're gonna make this kind of like a WWE kind of thing where they use both the shows and turn into actual brands. You can do that. You can't do that. Whatever it may be. But this extra 2 hours now you're going to get now, this should be no excuse now for talents to really show themselves now. Again, a guy like Miro who returned last night, who's been a stop-and-go guy for the last year or so. There's a lot of great talent that are not getting either any TV time or enough, or the storylines are too stop-and-go. Now you have a show twice a week now, plus Rampage on Fridays, which, whatever, that you can do that now, that you can actually, utilize that now. So hopefully this is an opportunity for AEW to right the wrongs that we've been criticizing for the last 3-4 years now. Tony Khan now has no excuse now to improve creative. No excuse. So hopefully these Saturday shows, these 2-hour fresh live shows, are going to right some wrongs moving forward. I saw last night also too, Kevin Kelly, all WWE fame, and Nigel McGuinness are in the booth. I know Jim Ross was supposed to be there last night. He was there actually toward the end of the show. And he had a little accident yesterday. He had a black eye. He fell apparently. Not bad. I actually enjoyed the commentary team there. So Collision will have its own little thing now. I'm kind of excited now because, like I said, I've been very cold on AEW last year. And last night kind of got me a little, okay, I can start watching this a little bit now. Maybe get my AEW juice going again and be a little more excited about wrestling these days. Again, content is tough to watch because there's so much content out there. But something fresh once we have is there. I mean, let's see if they can improve the product moving forward. No more stop and goes. No more excuse for lack of women on the roster getting TV time. Tony Khan has no excuse here moving forward. He got what he wanted. He got more time. He got more TV time on a major platform. I think Saturday's actually a decent day. I don't know whether day you can really put it on. I think Saturday's fine. It gives enough space between Wednesday and Saturday. Fine. The only issue I see with Collision going forward is that when WWE has their pay-per-view events, which is every month on a Saturday, obviously I'll eat into the Collision numbers, but you know what? It doesn't matter at this point. It is what it is. You watch on demand that later on, okay? No big deal. So, look. I'm still even though I've been critical of Tony Khan and company and all that, I am still rooting for AEW. Still rooting for them to do well. So there it is. Also in wrestling though, speaking of storylines, the Bloodline storyline on WWE is to me the greatest storyline in the history of the company. And you talk to a guy, listen to a guy like myself who, for many decades, have been saying that the Mega Power storyline was the most fascinating, most intriguing, my favorite, the greatest storyline in the history of the company. But this Bloodline storyline, and spoiler alert here, if you haven't seen what happened on SmackDown on Friday, Jey Uso also turns on Roman Reigns now. So the Uso brothers now both turn on Roman Reigns now. Both give him super kicks at the end of the show. The investment, the 3-year investment of the storyline, because it's going to hit 3 years in August from the day Roman turned heel. It's been fantastic. It's been fascinating. It's been great. The ebbs and flows. The fact that we still, especially in a time now where staying focused is so hard in this content age. That this storyline still grabs our attention and grabs our emotions still 3 years in is a big deal. It's why, to me, it's the greatest storyline in WWE history. Where's it going to go? Who knows? The Bloodline has definitely broken up, but will it stay broken up? Will things change going forward? I mean, I think I saw a report that Money in the Bank in 2 weeks is going to pit Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns against the Usos. But who knows how that plays out going forward? Maybe there's more, tentacles in the storyline. Maybe there's more, Usos or more family bloodline members that come into the fold. That's what makes the story so great and so intriguing. Because there's generations of players in this thing that are impacted. So I told you guys after WrestleMania, I'm done trying to figure out where it goes. I mean, we all have guesses where it's going to go, obviously. We all have guesses where it's going to go, and that's fine. We can do that. That's what we do in this business. We sit here and we debate and we discuss these things. That's fine. But I told you guys after WrestleMania when Roman beat Cody, that I've now surrendered myself to the story. Let it take me. Tell me the story you want to tell me, because I'm enjoying it. And this latest swing now, Jimmy turns on Roman. And now Jay turned on Roman now. Go watch it. They actually put out the entire 60-minute the SmackDown episode. They took out the snippets of the entire episode of the storyline into a 60-minute video on YouTube, on WWE YouTube page. Check it out. I watched it yesterday. It was fantastic. So, all right, one more thing. Get out of here as I hold on. If I get out of here, I can drink some water real quick. I'm getting a little thirsty here. Give me 1 second, please. Sorry about that. I am getting refocused on my health journey. You guys know I've been talking about it on the show a lot the last 4 months because that's been really front and center in my life. So I told you guys back in March, and diagnosed as type 2 diabetic. And really before I became diabetic, the neck issue that I had that really triggered all of this. And I've been good for the most part. I've been good. I think the fact that I'm aware of stuff around me now is a good thing, because at the very least, it means that I'm not as ignorant to the things before I was. I used to live a life of ignorance is bliss and all that stuff. But I won't lie. I'm not gonna step off the wagon, because there's certain things I have not reverted to, like sodas, which is something I used to drink like water. I have not drank a thing of soda at all since this process, so that's still good. But I have told you guys I've been struggling with carbs, specifically in the mornings too. Bread, rice, the whole nine. And I won't lie, I've gotten a little loose with the eating a little bit. I mean, I'm back to eating semi-regular. I think I've eaten less veggies recently too as well, in comparison to when I started this process. I need to get back to that again. I need to start walking more. Although I do walk, if I miss my time to walk in the mornings, I make sure I walk on my breaks at work, get something in, some time in, some steps in. But I need to really refocus myself, and make sure I'm get up early in the morning to walk before I go to work. Making sure I'm drinking a lot of water a day. Making sure I'm eating healthy. Making sure I'm trying to, if I'm gonna eat carbs, make sure I'm offsetting that with steps. There's simple things you can do. And my dad and I were talking about that on Friday, because with my brother, we get on him. My brother's is in much better shape than I am. He's actually, looks good. He's not overweight. He's overweight by a couple pounds, but nothing significant. But my dad has been so strict with us when it comes to, when I say strict, I mean like he's been pounding this for years on us, especially more so now. My dad in his mid-60s and is the best of his life. He works out 5 days a week. He goes to the gym. He eats healthier. So he gets on us a lot about what we're putting in our system, all that. So this triggered a conversation last week, or rather on Friday, when I went to see my nephew in Miami. And, and in talking to them about this, it's triggered again now my need to refocus my energy on my health again. Because this is a lifestyle. This is not a diet. This is not a fad. This is myself for the rest of my life. And yes, it's okay once in a blue moon to have a sweet here and there, this and that. But I don't want to hit the point where I'm like making it a regular thing when I fall off the wagon. And I have not done it yet, though, but I don't want to even consider that as an option. So this week, I'm going to be back to being stricter again, refocused, making sure I'm walking every day, exercising every day. Once I get my x-ray of my neck to make sure I'm clear to do more high-resistance workouts, I'm going to start going back to weights and maybe back to the gym. And kind of, I'm starting to get more motivated to get back, to really, where my dad is at right now, for example, and that's why I love this being Father's Day today. Where my dad's at right now mentally, in terms of health and all that, that's where I need to be. He's older than I am too, especially. So there you go. So I want to be there. That's my goal. So starting this week, refocusing, and it comes down to basics. Up in the water, watching the carbs, don't eat late, intermittent fasting, the whole nine. As long as you do those basic things around there, things should fall into place. So anyway, that will do today's podcast, dated June 18th, 2023. Again, I am on Twitter at EJChristian7. Of course, guys, check out also my YouTube page at youtube.com/@EarnestChristian. We will talk soon. And guys, once again, enjoy your Father's Day. And till the next one, we'll talk soon.